Hello and welcome to Alpha Shipyards. My name's Store Papa or Jim, and for those of you who have gamed with us or around me, you know certain things that are going to happen over the next few weeks. Number one, apparently you're going to hear the washer and dryer. Yep, you're going to hear dogs barking until they get let outside, and then the second they're outside, you're going to hear him howling incessantly. Fair warning. You also might hear the doorbell, the phone ringing, people upstairs walking around, who knows what else. You might hear the dogs barking as they're let back in. So, with that being said, you won't see me on camera because I'm that close to the screen, and it's really not going to help you much. I would love to put collar cams on the dogs because I think them walking around would be pretty darn cute, especially when they come up and interrupt me and want to be petted. So, first series of videos is going to be space engineers. Let's get started. So, welcome to the Alpha Shipyard. This is Barsoom Space Ops. That ship in front of you is the hell is it called? Oh, it's the Pilgrim's Promise. We found it on the second day on Earth. We converted it into a rover. Still there today, months afterwards, and it's been useful for many people. I found that one while exploring on Barsoom about 4 weeks ago. We dug it out of the ground. We put atmospherics on it and then got it up off from the ditch. Outwit came over with his ship. We got it up into space and then we split it in half. You're looking at the front end. The back end is the new freighter that it's right underneath. And then we expanded it forward to make it much bigger and I'm going to say better, but we expanded the ship. Part of the expansion was we tried to make everything accessible. So if there's a corridor and equipment has a panel on it, you can access that panel on every side. That's a key feature that I think is missing in shipbuilding in all the space games that I've played over the years. It's missing in a ton of voxel games. People cram stuff into a little box and they ignore the aspect of, well, how does your character or the people that work there get around the equipment? And by skipping over it, you make things smaller and tighter, but you make them less realistic inclined. You give up style for and functionality. Well, maybe the other way around. You give up functionality for style. So, what brings us here? That ship took so long to build, and we came up with an idea for it to make it into a boss encounter in the Modular Encounters series. And that's what we're going to do. And unfortunately, it was built with a mod that can't be exported out to Modular Encounters, so we had to go back and build it from vanilla. So here's our mod list. These are the only mods that we're working with. Weapons Core, because again, you're not at this using these games if you're not updated and running model weapons. I mean, you could, but realistically, why would you? Paint gun, just to make it easier for building. Rich HUD Master, Text API. Everyone's using them. I even forget what they do, but when you turn them off, you realize that it's a very helpful thing for building. Spacebar bridge consoles. You might not be using them. They are really cool, and since we're going a bit, I don't want to say creative because we're not creative building, we're survival building. They do make make it more enjoyable than the standard single seat over and over again. Modular encounter spawner, because the risks of building this are still there just to make it fun and not just a boring creative mode. But also, that's where it's going to operate. So we need to build it within modular encounters. We don't have to, but we need to, and that's how we're going to do it. Also, we're going to take the ships we build to every planet, moon, and atmosphere. Because there are things in modular encounters that when they're spawned in, they just fall down to the ground and collapse. They can't handle or they weren't designed to be in a combat environment. Combat ships where, one hit could destroy all the engines from underneath. We're not building that way. We're building to be, it's a voxel sandbox survival game, but let's still call it realistic or realistic thinking in its design in some way. Build info and build vision, they should have been up there with Rich HUD and text. HUD compass, because let's face it, I get lost. Okay, Northwind weapons. We had to make a decision on which weapons to use to expand the ships, and we all liked Northwind weapons. The second best choice would have been OKI, but Northwinds has some bigger turret weapons for the larger combat ships. All right, daily needs survival kit. If you're not using this already, you're probably not playing a survival game or a hardcore challenge. Daily needs survival kit, DNSK. It's a challenge for the first couple days, but after that, it's a piece of cake to keep it going. It's like ammo. If you run out of the base and you forget to check your ammo, you're going to die in the fight. If you don't check for your food and water, you're going to starve and die in the fight. It's easy thing to maintain once you have it set up. Okay, the kitchen. Why are we building ships with kitchens? There's just a few things in there, but it helps makes the ships more realistic. And again, that's one of the reasons that I'm building it in survival. All the building is going to be done by hand. We're not using drones. We're not using space magic. We're not doing any Deus Ex Machina. It's going to be built, and built with vanilla tools and vanilla equipment. And that means that if the engineer doing the building gets injured, dies, whatever, we need to have the facilities nearby to take care of them, to respawn. When you see people building creative and they completely abandon the survival aspects, that reflects itself in the workshop. You'll see ships that, the bridge is almost impossible to get into. There's nowhere for somebody to be outside maintaining a piece of equipment and get back easily if they need oxygen or hydrogen. There's no storage for extra bottles. Just little things that are missing. And the decorative packs help to make that possible. So let's get started and head on off to the moon. And that's where we're going to do all of our building, but let's make one small change. We're going to call it Sol 3-1 because it's a space game. We're going to be a little nerdy, and it is the first orbital body around Sol 3. All right, now then, let's go. Nowhere. Apparently, we cannot spawn directly on the moon. I want to thank all the guys at Alpha 1 for helping me set up this server. It is on a server, a Torch dedicated server. But apparently we can't land directly on the moon. Spacesuit will get us nowhere. Space pod was not guaranteed to get us near the moon. So, small change plans. We are going to start on the Earth. We're just going to get there a little earlier. Let me fix that one too. Okay, Sol 3. So instead of being on Sol 3-1, we're going to Sol 3. Hooray! All right, let's head on down. Oh, that's not loud at all. All right, since this is on a dedicated server, everything we build has to conform to grid. It has to conform to having the grid name removed. Has to have a beacon. And again, there is no magic. There's nothing that we're doing. And today is just a quick intro video, just to go over the mods, what we're going to do. And the only thing I'm going to do is save this for right now, because we can't do any streaming on YouTube until sometime tomorrow. So I want to thank you all for joining. And here we go. Apparently, we are building a base here in a valley. And from here, we will launch ourselves up to, hey, look, a little black dot on the sun today. We will launch ourselves. Is that the moon? No, that is the moon. No, it's not. Where is the moon? You know what? We'll find out when we get up into space, because that might take a few days. Thank you, everybody, and that's it.